Cops won't even have to wear guns. You know, this guy was really pouring it on. And you know how he could smooth. And I hope this doesn't shock you, but Bill Clinton did not tell the truth about the Brady Bill. And what it was is actually, they never even mentioned this. None of the sheriffs in the country knew what this was until the BATF showed up. We were responsible for conducting background checks on every citizen in our county who wanted to purchase a handgun. And we had to keep all the records. And we had to do all the work and then forward the information on to the FBI and work with the gun shop owners about putting all this together. And then if we didn't do it, we were subject to arrest. Serious. Whoever knowingly failed to comply with these provisions was subject to a $1,000 fine or a year in jail or both. And so the first thing I sought was an injunction against my own government from arresting me because I was going to knowingly fail to comply. I wasn't going to do it. So we actually got the injunction. The judge gave us the injunction. And Janet Reno immediately issued a memo and said, oh, well, that part of the Brady Bill didn't apply to the sheriffs. That only applied to the gun shop owners, to the FFLs. And then the judge shook his finger at her and said, you don't get to change the law just because you write a memo. Ah, smart judge. So then when I came home from that meeting that day, it took 2.5 hours to drive home, and I came into my wife and I said, you know what? I think I'm going to file a lawsuit against the Clinton administration, and it's probably going to cost us our home and job and career. And she goes, well, as I recall, we weren't really looking for this job when we got it. And she was right. And you know, I did some other research. I looked into this, and I looked at how many sheriffs have ever sued the federal government in the history of our country, and I haven't found any others. Ultimately, 7 sheriffs from across this country joined this lawsuit. 7 out of 3,100. I was a little bit disappointed. 1 from Texas. 1 out of 254 counties. 1. Sheriff Cood from Valverde County. Is that Del Rio, Texas? Del Rio, yeah. And I believe he's passed on. I think he's the only one of the 7 that has passed on. But I want to thank him for being part of this movement. Texas definitely was a part of this movement. And then, when I filed the lawsuit, we got all sorts of calls from international press, and I was amazed. And I did some more research, and I looked into this. Of all the people who sued Bill Clinton, we were the only ones to ever do so on a non-sexual matter. True story. True. So, and then I looked at the Constitution even closer, and do you know that the Constitution actually requires that all state officials, the U.S. Constitution requires that all state and county and local officials swear an oath of allegiance to the Constitution. And I'm all for that. And if your local officials do not swear an oath to the Constitution, they have violated the Constitution. That's why we are all taking the oath. In a lot of places, even school teachers have to swear an oath to the Constitution. Probably that one that was teaching my son the wrong thing took that same oath. You know, pretty funny. So it says in Article 6, the senators, whoops, I violated my own rule. There we go. In Article 6 of the United States Constitution, it says, all members of the several state legislatures and all executive, and the sheriff works for the executive branch. Don't forget that. He's the executor of the law. Executive and judicial officers, both of the United States and of the several states, shall be bound by oath or affirmation to support this Constitution. So if they fail to keep the Constitution and fail to follow the Constitution, they're violating the supreme law of the land. And that's why now after all these years, and after last year's election, I'm going to tell you that that's what gave birth to my most recent book, The County Sheriff, America's Last Hope. And let me tell you how that came about. At first, in this last election, I really liked Barack Obama. Now, most of you already know me well enough to know that how would a person who really is constitutional and patriotic and American like Barack Obama? Well, he was doing something, as you'll recall, remember, he was doing something really fantastic. He was beating Hillary Clinton. And I loved him for that. But then, that got replaced really quick when he won. Because I never thought that this country, no matter how off, no matter how corrupt the vote might be, that we could ever elect such a socialist, such a Marxist, someone who does not care about American fundamentals or our Constitution, and wants to replace all of that with such a socialistic agenda. I never thought we could do that here. We did. And now we got him and Hillary. And so we've got a lot of work to do. And the first thing we do is we concentrate here. Remember, shift your paradigm to your backyards, to your counties, where you can actually get something done, where you can hold these people responsible and hold their feet to the fire. Follow the Constitution, or we'll replace you with somebody who will. That is it. And we're going to take that message nationwide, county by county, and state by state. We can take our Constitution back. That's all this is. And let me reaffirm that what this is for all Americans. This is for black, white, any color in between. It's for every religion. And it's even for people who are no religion. We even invite atheists to be part of this movement to take back our Constitution. It is for all Americans. Do not forget that. It is for all Americans. If you're an illegal alien, it's not for you. Okay? It's not for you. But all Americans, and yes, this is a peaceful, patriotic process. This is peaceful. This is our love for our families and our love for our country and love for our God, who gave us this country in the first place, who devised and helped raise these men up to form our Constitution, who had the courage and the wherewithal to provide us in America in the first place. And what have we done? We have fallen asleep and we have been poor stewards of protecting our freedom. And now we've got to get back in the driver's seat and wake up. We cannot stand by in the parade and wave and clap anymore. We've got to get involved. And so with my discouragement and dismay over last year's election, I said there has to be hope. Hope springs eternal with me. I'm an optimist. I love America. I love this country. I love Texans, and I love the people who I go and see all across this country. I just spoke in Spokane 3 weeks ago, and there was 1,300 people there. And everybody's eyes were the same as yours. Just give us back our freedom. We only want to be left alone. Well, let me tell you the truth there. Randy Weaver just wanted to be left alone. That's all he ever wanted. And we saw what happened to him. And we can't allow these things to go on anymore. And I've been attacked lately by the Southern Poverty Law Center, Morris Dees. They've attacked me. Tried to say that I'm they couldn't call me racist because I never have ever said anything racist in my life, even though they've tried to get real close to that. But you know what I am? I'm an icon of the militia. Oh no! And I talk about dangerous things, like the Constitution. Why are they so afraid of the Constitution? Because if everybody follows it, they're completely out of business. We don't need them. Of course, we don't need more liars anyway. We got plenty of those in Washington, D.C. But the point that I want to make to him is, and I'll do this to everybody else too, were any of us, what have we ever done? Have any of you ever shot a mother holding a baby?